All right, guys. So let's start over. So today it's kind of a continuation off of the last video. You got to see the whole journey leading up to the announcement of us having baby number 3. Yeah, man. So we're pretty excited. But in that, I think it's a good, solid time to have a discussion because some of the questions, even some of the things that Michaela and sort of Bella, I guess, are asking, knowing now that they're older about this pregnancy, I feel like it's kind of good to start getting ready to have this conversation. Some of y'all may have seen my post on Facebook, but talking about different parts of the body, different understanding of those things. I think kids start to just
pregnancy in general.
Yeah, and start to wonder, you know what I mean? Especially our 7, almost 8-year-old, right? And
she was already filled with questions at the doctor's office.
Yeah, and even Bella, she's 4, almost 5, and she's already asking things that, are getting into that scene. And being as though we have an 8-year-old, we just know we want to start having these conversations early about sex and about intimacy and stuff like that to understand the foundation of that, and us being Christians and being believers, and both of us are kind of cut from the cloth of not having that foundation set for us properly as kids growing up. I mean, our parents did the best they could to with what they had, the knowledge that they had. Like, shout outs to our parents, they did what they felt they needed to do. Right. And in the same position, that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah. In that, Summer and I both have had conversations about like when and how do we talk about this topic. And, most of the time we're like, well, it'll be when they get older, like 12, 13 maybe or something. But the more and more you start to think about it and really research it and stuff like that, it starts young, man. Like, I mean, my mom's a teacher and kids are doing things in like 2nd and 3rd grade that are just, inappropriate, or talking about body parts, and kids don't really know what all that means. And so needless to say, I saw a friend of mine post something about a podcast, him and his pastor recommended these series of books, and we bought the parent guide, so we're working on that. We're going to be working through that together, but tonight we're actually about to read this before dinner. It's called The Story of Me, and it says babies, bodies, and a very good God. And so I think talking about this as we get into this baby journey would be really good, and we've read this already together. I mean, what are your quick thoughts?
I think the book is I think all of the books obviously the first and second one we've read have been extremely thorough. They're very scientifically correct and biblically correct at the same time, which is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We want to give them the basics and the true scientific terms of,
body parts, and what they are,
and they have, what they are.
And then, and this is for ages, if you look, it says ages 3 to 5. So it's not super in depth, but it does mention parts, and of mommy and of them as kids, like things that they have, and parts that, their opposite sex have too. So we have 2 girls. We don't have boys yet. Maybe the one in the oven is, but those are things that we would like to, but we never know. And so that said is just being like, hey, like we want them to understand more about themselves, how they were born, and then this doesn't really go into deep detail. Now that I will say, even reading this when we read it together, it was definitely like, whoa, like it is there's a couple things, just hearing parts named scientifically, because you don't really hear kids.
I feel like we're so quick to like make up like
nicknames for them. You know what I mean?
And
our kids had a nickname, and
they did,
and that's fine. But I think that to some degree, naming it like cookie or something, or a food is weird. In just my eyes, I think that's kind of weird, like to name it that as a kid, because we've heard stories of people that have done that, and then they get it confused because their kid says something to them, and it was actually a bad representation because it could be misconstrued if you name it a food. I will say, if you're interested in these books, again, this is the book. It's called The Story of Me, and
you can get them on navpress.com. We can link that in the description below, so that way you guys have access to it.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions or any of your own personal thoughts on this, definitely, we understand not everybody feels like they should do what we're doing, but we want to be proactive. We want to have our kids. We truly believe that if we don't lay the foundation for our kids, that
leaves access for somebody else.
Somebody else is going to do it at some point. If we don't talk to them about it and start having little bits of conversations, and we're not going to have full blown like detailed conversations with them right now. Of course, like it's not going that far, but the next book starts to go into that far, and it's from like 5 to 8.
Ages 5 to 8.
So, which sounds weird, but
it is
a little young sounding, but at the same time, I think I think having proper open lines of communication and talking about it properly and knowing your kids, if you know your kids can and you can talk about it like a serious, real, and honest conversations, I think that would be fine. The only reason why we know it and look at that bad is because it's been distorted our whole lives. It's been so misconstrued through media, TV, internet, all that stuff has just given us a distorted version and a perverted version of what these science parts of us are and what God created and was supposed to be good. So we're gonna read this and we're gonna, at the end, we're not gonna read it on here, but at the end of this video, in a few seconds probably, you guys will see kind of maybe their reactions, our kids who talk about this book and what they maybe took away from it and what they think. So I think that'd be really cool. So stay tuned. All right, so guys, we just got through doing the book with our 2 little girls. Summer is now upstairs getting them ready for bed, but we started to record their questions at the end, or the reactions to it at the end, but I didn't really want to put, I guess, the camera in their face for too long and just let it be more organic. But just to give you guys kind of the update while Summer's upstairs getting them ready for bed, I definitely feel like book was great. They received it well. She read parts of it and we had parts read from us, both me and Summer, and I think they did really well with it, because there's parts in it that you can tell where the kid is talking, and then the whole book is like a discussion of a little boy with his dad and mom, and trying to know the story of him, like what's my story and how did I get here, and what makes me me, and all that kind of stuff. And so it was just really cool, and being able to see, obviously God has made you and made you, all your parts, your hands, fingers, toes, eyes, nose, all that stuff. And and then it goes into talking about what makes a boy and a girl, and those kinds of things. And hearing those parts, I guess for her were definitely a little different, because she's never heard them labeled the medical science terms. But it was good to be able to talk about that and be upfront and talk about the birthing kind of thing, of how you came out of your mom's vagina.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Thanks for the tip.
And you know what I mean? And not sugarcoating that part of it. It didn't go into much detail outside of just what makes a boy is this, and what makes a girl this. Mommy feeds the baby like this. It's just really cool, and it just works because, again, we have baby number 3 on the way. It was really well. I think it was really good. We had a conversation afterwards about just questions, and we just opened up the floor for conversation. If there's ever any more questions that they have, that they can come to us and they can talk. So I think that's about it. So the floor is theirs, and we'll still continue the conversation, probably, obviously as they grow older and get older. And through this whole pregnancy thing, I'm sure there may be some more questions that will arise and that will kind of intersect with this book. So I think the timing was kind of perfect. But man, you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Have you ever checked out this book? If not, there will be a link in the description, like we said earlier, for you guys at home, other parents, if you're interested in getting the parents guide and maybe getting this book series for your kids. They have it all the way from 3 years old all the way through teenagers, so it works as a series. It kind of goes throughout an entire child's life and stuff. So it's really cool. It's really dope. Give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share it. Love you guys, and hope you guys have a blessed week. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.